Concerts are supposed to be a place where people can go, relax, enjoy music from their favorite artists, and the worst thing that might happen to them is getting stuck in traffic in or out of the event or trying to find a parking spot. But the Astroworld event recently, that's not what happened at all. Instead, a lot of people got hurt, and now many are wondering how this could have happened, who's to blame, and more. But are there answers for these questions? We'll break it down for you, but before we do that, go ahead and do us a favor by leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. What happened? So obviously this all has to do with the event known as Astroworld that took place in Houston, Texas recently, and a lot of damage and harm was caused as a result. After a crowd surge at a Houston concert that left 8 people dead and dozens injured, officials said they will investigate what could have been done to get attendees out of harm's way. It is already known that dozens were injured at the music festival after a large crowd began pushing themselves towards the front of the stage to get closer to Travis Scott, who was performing at the time. The audience was so tightly packed that when audience members were pushed toward the stage, some told CNN they were crushed to the point where they couldn't breathe and passed out. One security officer was struck in the neck during the concert while trying to restrain an audience member. When he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner said Saturday of the security officer. He was revived and the medical staff did notice a prick similar to what you would get if somebody was trying to inject. That is one part of it. As far as the passings of some of the fans in attendance, it is believed that they were caused by several drugs that were being administered at the festival, as Houston Fire Chief Sam Pena said. Other attempts to save lives included some people administering CPR. Former Marine Lucas Nacardi said he performed CPR on 2 people who passed out. That was a different world. I immediately thought, this is not okay. Someone's gonna die here, he told CNN. I've never seen a mass amount of bodies dropping that fast before. Officials said they will review footage from the scene and assess how the venue was laid out as part of the investigation into the tragedy. The investigation will cover what caused 1, the issue of the crowd surge, and 2, what prevented people from being able to escape that situation, Pena said Saturday. We are currently looking at all the video footage. We are talking to witnesses. We're talking to event organizers, Turner told CNN on Saturday. Chief Troy Finner of the Houston Police Department said that many details about the disaster were still unclear at the time. I'm sending investigators to the hospitals because we just don't know, Chief Finner said. We're going to do an investigation and find out, because it's not fair to producers, to anybody else involved, until we determine what happened, what caused the surge. In a statement posted on Twitter, Mr. Scott said that the Houston Police Department had his total support as it investigated the deaths. My prayers go out to the families and all those impacted by what happened at Astroworld Festival, he wrote. I am committed to working together with the Houston community to heal and support the families in need. And there are a lot of people in need, no doubt. The victims of the event. The crowd surge during a concert by the rapper Travis Scott caused some panic and it started causing some injuries, said the fire chief Sam Pena. About 50,000 people were there on Friday night, according to the fire department. The crowd, for whatever reason, began to push and surge towards the front of the stage, which caused the people in the front to be compressed. They were unable to escape that situation, Pena told CNN. The chaos sent at least 25 people to the hospital, and 13 of them remained there Saturday afternoon. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner said 5 of them are under the age of 18, he said. It was like hell, said Nick Johnson, age 17, who was at the event. Everybody was just in the back trying to rush to the front. 23 people were taken to nearby hospitals by emergency responders. It all happened at once, Larry Satterwhite, the executive assistant chief of the Houston Police, said at the news conference. He said that at one point, several people in the crowd fell to the ground and began experiencing what he called a medical episode. I got there around 3 and saw people already struggling to stand straight, one employee said on Saturday. There was a lot of mob mentality going on, people willing to do whatever to be in line for merch, food, shows, you name it. A lot of fights broke out throughout the day. The company organizing the festival, Live Nation, agreed to stop the performance early in the interest of public safety, Chief Satterwhite said. Governor Greg Abbott said in a statement on Saturday, what happened at Astroworld Festival last night was tragic. Our hearts are with those who lost their lives and those who were injured in the terrifying crowd surge. If you're wanting a more personal and up-close look at what happened, there is one person who was more than willing to give his perspective, Aiden Cruz. Aiden Cruz, who has gotten some version of internet fame not for being one of the victims of the Astroworld event, but trying to stop the concert because people were getting hurt. One of the people who died at the event was his friend. I love music. I love going to concerts. I know the energy. I know the vibes, and this shouldn't have happened, Cruz said. I tried my best to avoid all danger zones. I thought I had it all down. I'm getting comments saying I'm a hero. I lost my friend. Like she's not here with us right now. He said his group of friends was towards the back of the crowd when Scott took the stage, and all of a sudden, Cruz said the force of the crowd of the people behind him pushed him and some of his friends to the ground. It really wasn't a mosh pit where we were. We were actually towards the back, he said, and all of a sudden people started pushing us us from the back, and we're not actually able to open up anything. There was no space. People were actually freaking out. There was a girl behind us who was frantically screaming. Within minutes of Scott taking the stage, he said people were already falling down to the ground. And as the first layer of people fell down, we ended up falling down on our backs, and people ended up falling on top of us. He said, I couldn't get up for the longest. No one really could get up. There was no one moving. The music was going and people were jumping and dancing. Cruz said he spotted the cameraman and made a decision. He got up on the platform and started pleading for him to stop the show. He said he doesn't blame the cameraman for ignoring him because he knows he was just doing his job. He said the other fans were actually yelling at him to get down. I just felt like no one else was going to do it, and it would save Bree and it would save those people that were beneath my feet, Cruz said. Cruz wasn't alone in his pleas to stop the show. Another young woman was seen begging the cameraman to put an end to the mayhem, but sadly it wasn't enough to stop things, and the results were that Aiden lost his friends, others lost their lives, many more were injured, and the questions and answers aplenty are being asked and sought. Reactions from Scott and others. Shortly after the festival was brought to an end, thousands went on to state that Travis Scott needed to respond to the issue and that he needed to respond fast, as many did not know whether or not he made the attempt during his performance to stop and draw attention to what was taking place. Travis Scott, he took pauses to point at the crowd to say like, go help them, they're passed out. Angel Rodriguez, an attendee, said on Saturday morning. He did it like 3 times. He pointed to the area where it was and said for everybody in the area to go help them and bring them to the front. Rapper and producer Travis Scott, the organizer of the Astroworld Festival in Houston, where at least 8 people died Friday night, gave his first on-camera statement in a video posted to his Instagram account Saturday night. I'm honestly just devastated, Scott said as he repeatedly sighed and rubbed his forehead. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time, said Scott. My prayers go out to the families and all those impacted by what happened at Astroworld Festival. Scott tweeted the Saturday after the event. Houston PD has my total support as they continue to look into the tragic loss of life. Other rappers from the event have stepped forward to try and help make things better, including Roddy Ricch, who stated that he would go and donate all earnings from the event to help the victims' families. I'll be donating my net compensation to the families of this incident, he wrote on his Instagram story. And naturally, all sorts of support came from other people trying to weigh in on the issue, as well as just being shocked that such a thing could happen at all. And that's the rub, isn't it? How could this happen at all? Better situations, better statements. There sadly have been all sorts of incidents that have happened in concerts over the years, not the least of which is that of the infamous concert The Who had where people died, and there have been plenty of concerts in modern times where fans have stormed the stage to try and get to the singer or group in question, but something like this shouldn't have happened at all. The tragic element here is that Travis Scott has a history of having bad things happen at his concerts, including at Astroworld. He prefers a rowdy crowd and even deleted some Instagram posts after the event that highlighted how he said that it's not a concert until someone passes out. And as mentioned before, Travis Scott didn't stop the concert when things started to go wrong. In fact, he went to an after party despite him knowing something was off, and only left it once he heard some of the people who attended were dead. It's not surprising that there are some serious repercussions going on right now with Travis Scott. His Fortnite gear and emote has been removed. He got pulled out of a Vegas show he was supposed to headline, and now both him and Drake, who was also at the event, are apparently getting sued for what happened. Is it fair to blame them? In part, yes. While no injuries would be optimistic after seeing what happened, if certain things, including Scott stopping the concert, happened in a particular way, it could have been lessened at least. Sadly, we'll never know how this could have been stopped, and now concert goers and concert venues and concert performers are gonna have to do better to ensure something like this never happens again. And there you go, everyone, a look at what happened at Astroworld and the fallout that came from it. Are you shocked at some of the things that happened both at the event and after it? Do you feel that there needs to be serious work done to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Should people like Drake and Travis be held responsible for what happened? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.